Hey guys, thanks for coming. Thanks for waiting a little longer than you should. Tonight's show, well, it's performed spoken word. It's a work in progress, and I learned from you guys what's working and what's not. And I want to say special thanks to Dylan Bruner, who helped me tape it and then see it again when I did it in January. And Lissa, and I'm trying to think, MCAT, and some other people that I'm forgetting right now. So I'm going to give it a shot, and thank you for coming. Life as an associate, AKA effing cashier. I got this at TJ Maxx for $10. Spouse walks in. It's 4 p.m. I've been laying there for 8 hours. I've been eating Captain Crunch, and I've been reading a stack of People magazines. He takes one look at me and he says, "You have turned into a selfish, bitchy, useless, mooching spouse." He didn't really say that, but I know at times he was thinking it. He says, I know. For 25 years, you have wrestled with stains on the dirty wash. You've tried to cook like Betty Crocker, imitated Martha Stewart, douched the bathrooms, planted the flowers that then became dead, schlepped the kids to the movies so they can make out with their boyfriends, stocked up on tampons, and when they got older, you picked up the birth control and multicolored condoms. You kept the house crapless, and you became friends and knew the names of the UPS man, the FedEx man, the mailman, and even the garbage man. Rick, Stan, Buzz, and Jose. And you always kept the liquor cabinet stocked. But now, you need a job. Any job. Something to make you leap off that mattress and take a stab at a new, kidless life. I know, he's right. I need a job. But who wants me? A middle-aged woman with Burger King experience, millwork, and cleaning experience. And no, don't forget, once I worked at a monkey lab. I have a college degree in theater and psychology. That was smart. And I don't have any typing or computer skills. I start thinking and sounding like the girl in the play. Chorus line. Oh God, I need a job. Oh God, I need a job. If there is a job, please give me a job. Reality. Nobody needed me anymore. 25 years of being on call to two little people who grew into two opinionated people. 25 years of being a parental home maintenance operator. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm supposed to be happy. They're gone. There isn't a teenager around anymore, gently to remind. Honey, it's time to get up. Get out of my face. Did you eat your breakfast? Get out of my face. What time are you going to be home for dinner? None of your damn business. I mean, come on. Was I really going to miss this? I actually had a calendar and X'd off the days till she left for college. And now it's really not the empty nest, but the no mess, less stress, hey, let's have sex nest. I walk in the door, but sometimes I miss that moody teenager and the Katy Perry blasting out of the stereo. Now, I'm thinking of Paul Simon singing The Sounds of Silence. I get up. I watch the spouse. He eats his oatmeal. He drinks his black tea, packs his lunch. He's so disciplined. I wave to him and he goes off to expand the minds and bodies of future actors of America at a major university in San Diego. Then, I would close the door to my suburban sanitarium and I would sneak up to bed. I would lay down there, look at the clock, and that little effing ball of anxiety would spin in my stomach and it wouldn't go away. Was it imaginary? Was it hormonal? Was it there because I didn't have a job? My heart would beat and my mind would be like, you're useless. Nobody wants you. You gotta stop. You gotta stop thinking like this. Then, I would go up to my medicine cabinet and I would eat this little white pill. Ativan. Oh, Ativan, you make me not give a damn. Ativan, I think you've become my new man. room with all that damn San Diego sun pouring through. And I would think about the rest of the world out there. All those happy moms taking their kids to school. The woman who walks her dog 5 times a day and has a different outfit on each time she walks down the street. Neighbors that actually took showers and went off to jobs they loved. Then there was a neighbor who was always on Facebook, posting all her artwork, all the places around the world she was giving workshops. What a great husband she had. Ah, fuck her. I would lie there in a foggy haze and think, why? Why is this happening to me? I'm 54 years old. I thought I was an actress, a writer. I was going to tour with my shows, have a book published. Instead, I am worrying about the chips on the cheap laminate floor, the cat scratches on the antique couch, and what kind of cleaner to use on those cold, hard tiles. Broom, steamer, the Swiffer works the best. I have turned into this boring, suburban woman. So, I begin to flirt with suicide. Eventually, I date suicide. And I begin to think, I'm an ex-mom. The kids will be fine without me. How many other ex-moms are lying in bed today thinking about expiring in their clean sheets? I would lie there and semi-go back to sleep and wonder what happened to that fun-loving gal who used to pry pals out of bed every morning at 6 a.m., who founded Moms and Margarita chapters all over the world, who started Woman and Wine and then ended up with alcohol for assholes. Now, our lives have changed. Some friends are gone. Some have gone back to their exciting jobs. But me, I'm here lying in a semi-catatonic state, trying not to remember I still exist. After an hour, I would get up and go to Starbucks, and I would try to medicate with the caffeine to counterattack the Ativan floating through my body. Then, I would call someone, anyone. I would make a plan, movie, lunch, a walk on the beach, a couple of stiff drinks. Because I have a theory. It's called suicide or socialize. If I socialize, I could pretend for a while that I was okay. I would ask my buddies about themselves. I would pretend to listen. Then I would forget that for a few hours before, I was trying to plan my expiration date. In my gut, I knew if I could have a job, any job, it would stop me from constantly being seduced by my overused mattress. I could finally break the engagement off with suicide. I could meet other people if I got a job. I could learn their stories, learn a new skill, have something to talk to the spouse about, and forget about all those thoughts that were going through my overused brain. Now, there are at least 17 retail stores within driving distance of my burb home. Spouse thinks I should apply to the fancy underwear store. I told him, there is no way I could sell overpriced bras and underwear to rich suburban women whose boobs and butts and faces weren't real. I could just see me saying to somebody, when did you get that facelift? Where did you get it? They didn't do a good job. And then I would say, you know those fake boobs of yours? Can I touch them? Can I poke them? And then I would tell them the truth. I'd say, even with those perky boobs, you look like shit in that bra. I don't think that's the job for me. So that famous fashionista store, TJ Maxx, a 7-minute walk from my house, is looking for holiday help. I heard they might need a greeter. Oh, I'm so excited. I thought I'd be perfect for that. Hello, can I help you? Come on in our store. The only problem being is that I know half the town, and if I was greeting them, I would probably be asking them so many questions they'd never get through the door. So, I get my guts up. I call the store. I get an interview for the next day. Yes, yes, yes. I get up. I take a shower. I brush my teeth. I put on underwear. I wear a borrowed jacket from a friend and my daughter's semi-beat-up flats. The woman wants to know what I've done in the past. I try to explain, well, I've worked for 25 years in a thankless job. motherhood. Do I tell her I'm an actress and a writer and I perform off and on once in a while? That I get paid for my writing? Well, once I got paid. Should I tell her that I need to socialize or I'll commit suicide? No, that won't get me the job. She says, oh, it's tough in the acting profession these days. Yeah, tougher than you think. And yeah, it's so tough that I'm willing to work for $8 an hour. Well, really, $7.60 once they take out the taxes and Social Security. A friend of mine says, I wouldn't work for $8 an hour. And I say, you know what? $8 an hour is better than no bucks an hour. So I decide to walk around the store. I see some things I might like. I decide that I need underwear. I see thong underwear. And I think, why would I wear dental floss up my crack? I look at some shoes that I think would be sensible for me to stand in case I get the job. I see some Dr. Scholl's. Maybe I should get them. I go to the checkout line. I'm chatting away with the cashier. She rings up the important underwear. She hands me the bag. I said, hey, maybe I'll be hanging out and working with you. And then I walk out the door and woo, 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 woo. I forgot to take off the shoes I was trying on. The cashier looks at me. I say to her, I wasn't really stealing them. She goes, yeah, I don't think you would interview for a job and then steal a pair of shoes from us. So I go back, and I can't find my real shoes, which are actually my daughter's shoes. Oh, shit. Someone has taken them. What am I going to do? We look under the racks, in the bra section, the underwear, the shoe section. Where did they go? Someone must have stolen them. Why? Now I have to go home barefoot. They tell me, if they find them, they'll call. Later that afternoon, they find them. They find the shoes on top of a toilet. Did I go to the bathroom and put my old shoes on the toilet? What the hell was going on? What was I thinking? That evening, I get the life-changing call. Congratulations, you've got the job. We can offer you 20 hours of work for 3 weeks. If you show us how good you are, we just might ask you to stay. Hey, 20 times 8 is 160. 160 times 3 is 480. I may make enough money to pay for, well, some kids' presents, a couple of gallons of gas, and maybe make a very small payment on the 5 credit cards I've been talked into. Because, hey, I get a 20% discount on my first purchase. But then, I have to pay 15% in interest. And if I forget to pay those bills on time, I will get a $35 late charge. Oh, those salespersons know how to sucker people like me into those cards. So yeah, maybe with all that money I'm making, I can make a $20 payment on each bill. All right, this is it. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna meet some new people. Orientation. I am actually on time. But I am the oldest one there by 30 years. These gals went to high school with my teenager. Mr. P, the head manager, tells us, when you arrive, you will always punch into a time clock. And you are just not a measly worker, but you are an associate. Not a cashier, not a dressing room attendant, but an associate. And I think, I'm not an associate, I'm an effing whatever I will be. Don't try to brainwash me with those fancy titles. And then there are the rules. No cell phone on the job. No texting. Always wear a name tag. Shoes. And underwear. Mr. P gives us some BS story for about 10 minutes and then he puts on a film. He sits behind us and he texts away. The film talks about sections of the store. Section A is topped off by a sign in red. Section B is green. Section C is black. I don't really care about this. Then we learn from the very informative video what will happen if there is a blood spill in the store. A blood spill? Do customers come in the store and bleed so much it's considered a blood spill? I turned to Mr. P to ask him about this potential hazard, but he's busy texting. Then they take us for the tour of the store. They open doors in the back, and there's a bunch of Mexicans speaking Spanish, and they're working their asses off. They're unpacking boxes, they're sweating. They're hanging these clothes on hangers, and they're putting on on racks to be rolled out onto the floor. And there they meet a non-Mexican. There's employees, which, I mean associates. And they're picking things up off the floor, hanging things up. That looks like my kind of job. I'm kind of excited, and I'm thinking, maybe that's the job they'll give me. I could do that for 8 hours. At the end of orientation, they tell us to take home a handbook and memorize all the details of this store. I haven't studied anything except paint colors in years. I tell Mr. P, whatever you do, do not make me a cashier. I haven't been on a cash register in 30 years. I'll talk too much. I'm shitty with numbers. Shift 1. I'm a little nervous what to wear. Why can't I just wear one of those cute polyester uniforms that Burger King used to make me wear 30 years ago? Orange hat, big brim, little polyester top that came to here, the pants that had an elastic waist and gave you a plumber's crack. Oh, and that orange polyester material. You could wear that uniform for 5 days, even if grease splashed on you. It rolled off. That's what I want to wear. No, there's no TJ Maxx uniform. I have to think about what I'm going to wear. I have to go to my minimal closet and actually match like a skirt and a shirt. And I have to wear shoes. Closed-toed shoes, no flip-flops. Shit. This is already becoming too much work for me. I am tempted not to wear any shoes, but that probably would not be a good choice for my first day. The new job starts at 11 a.m. I arrive at 10:57. They show me how to work the punch clock. It takes me 5 minutes to figure this out. So I am officially late on my first day. I'd say I'm off to a great start. An assistant white manager calls me in and says, guess what? That job that most people want is that of an associate cashier. We are giving it to you. Oh, no. No, I say, you've made a mistake. You've made a big mistake. Look, yesterday I noticed that in the back room there was people unpacking boxes and hanging up items out of the big boxes that were coming in, and I want that job. I saw they were all Mexican and they only spoke Spanish, and I think that'd be a great job for me. I could work and learn Spanish 1 at the same time. I figured you're asking me to be a cashier because none of them speak English, right? She looks at me and she says, that's discrimination. I say, it might be, but that's what you're doing, right? She ignores me. Follow me. She brings me out to the scary cash register. Oh, shit. I warned them. I have no skills except chatting to people. But they don't listen to me. Oh, God, everything is computerized. I start to pray. I haven't prayed in years. I scan the items over some magical computer thing. And sometimes it misses, so sometimes you have to scan again. And then you have those damn white rectangular security tags. And if anything is over $20, they have them on. And you have to slip it into some little hole, and then you have to wrestle with it. And then you have to go back and forth, and then you have to go around again. And then you shove it, and then you start cussing at you like, fuck, shit, God damn it, what the hell is going on? And you're like, oh! And I'm standing there, and one of the customers is looking at me. And I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm new. I'm sorry. I'm kind of an idiot. I'm sorry. I don't know how to wrestle these things off. And then behind me stands Rosie, the assistant manager. She is giving me a dirty look. I feel Rosie and I are not going to be BFFs. Finally, there's a break from all this. Mr. P says, come here. It's time to talk to you about hanger management. management? Like, where the hell to put the hangers? Aren't they taking this a little bit far? He tells me there's little nubbies on each hanger, and they're rubber. He says the nubbies have letters, S for small, M for medium, and L for large. Each nubby has a color. Mr. P shows me how the color matches up with the size. And every time I check someone out and take something off the hanger, I have to look at the nubby, figure out the color and size, and put it on the rack. You know what? This job is becoming very complicated. After 10 minutes of lessons of hangers and nubbies, I tell him I might need to take an anger management class. There is a lull between our revered customers. We're supposed to collect the runaway nubbies, make sure the hangers are managed, and empty the garbage. I go to empty the garbage, and there are dust bowls behind the garbage pails. So many, I figure I can make an art piece of them. This place is really dirty. The counters aren't clean, they're dusty, the floors are gross, I'm kind of sticking on them. So I find myself on my hands and knees, chasing the dust balls around. I think, I'm gonna bring my dust buster into this place. Because I find out there's no vacuum, and the cleaners don't come in at night anymore. That night I go to bed, and I start dreaming about hangers and nubbies. I dream that the hangers are stacking up behind me, and I can't manage them all. And the nubbies are coming off, and they're bouncing all over to me, into my eyes, up my nostrils. They're beginning to choke me. All these nubbies are going after me. And all of a sudden, I fall back into a big plastic hanger mess. And I'm lying there, and a customer finds me and comes and grabs me out. And then the boss comes over, and he pulls me, and he looks at me, he says, "You need to be a greeter." I wake up. I'm still an effing cashier. I think I'm supposed to work on Monday, but I haven't written it down. So I call Mr. P and I say, "Hey, what time am I supposed to work today?" He says, "You were supposed to be here an hour ago." Whoops. Good impression on the second day. Shift 2. I'm still having challenges, issues with the cash register. Rosie, the assistant, what I've decided is a bitch, manager, is snapping at me. "Hasn't anyone taught you how to run this? How long have you been here? What? You don't know how to run credit cards, put checks in the drawer, get those tags off the clothes?" I think, come on, really? Give me a break. Shift 2 and I'm supposed to know all this crap? A little while later, some pretty Mexican associate comes up to me. She says, "Would you sign this black book?" I say, "Sure." Thinking maybe they want my birthday, throw me a party in a few months. And I say, "What are they signing for?" "You made a mistake in the cash register." "Wow, you mean I only made one mistake? Now I have to sign the bad book?" I didn't hear about this bad book in orientation. I wonder how many times I'll be in the bad book. I ask her, "Is there a good book?" She sighs. One common trait among these people is no sense of humor. Shift 3. Customers are lining up, and you hear a pre-recorded voice. "Cashier number 1 is available. Cashier number 2 is now available. Cashier number 7 is available." That's me. And this pre-recorded voice goes over and over all day long. One of the customers comes up to me and I say, "If that voice made a nickel for every time we heard it all day long, that voice would be a millionaire." I tell her, "I want that job." Another customer approaches. I ask the customers, "How are you doing today? How's things going? Did you find everything you need? Was everyone cordial to you? Is there anything I can do before I ring you up?" I'm such a bullshit artist. I have now mastered wrestling with security tags. I pin them down every time. Maybe today is the day I'll be put in the good book. It is busy, busy, busy. I've worked 5 hours straight on a gel mat. I love these gel mats. I have no back pain. The hours are flying by. I'm chatting away to everybody. I've only been featured in the bad book 2 times today. And I only had to call the manager 6 times to show me how to void a purchase, how to get change, how to run an American Express bill, and shit of all shits. They're trying to tell me how to use a check. A check? People still write checks? Oh my God, that's a 10-minute ordeal. They require you to get the driver's license, write it on a check, run it through some system to see if the customer bounces checks. Then they scan it over the cash register, then they open the drawer, they put it in. Finally, after 10 freaking minutes, you give the customer her package. Don't think she'll be writing checks again. I have managed to get a few people's life stories. One woman, her fiance has died. They were engaged for 12 years. I want to say to her, you may have broken the record for longest engagement ever. She's kind of choked up telling me about her fiance. She's gonna miss him this Christmas. She whips out a picture of him. Wasn't he good looking? I say, I'm sorry to hear he has passed. She says, well, now my granddaughter lives with me. She's 5 years old. She whips out a picture of her granddaughter. She shows me how cute she is. And I say, well, at least you have her to keep you going. Celebrate Christmas. Then she starts going on about her daughter, and her daughter is a drug addict, and she's a prostitute, and that's why she has the granddaughter. And where did she go wrong as a mother? And then she starts to cry. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have asked her how she was doing today. An older woman, about 70, comes up. It's obvious that she has gone through cancer treatment. She has a scarf on her head. She's shopping for her 2 tiny twin granddaughters. She tells me she's lived long enough to watch them being born. She shows me pictures. We chat. I pack up the cute outfits. She leaves. I turn around. I forgot to give her the bag. Damn. Then she'll drive all the way home and realize she forgot those little cute outfits and that bag because Chatty Cathy was going on. Without being told, I signed the bad book. Shift 4. In the retail world as an associate, I mean effing cashier. I actually arrive on time, but I am immediately called into the office. What, am I in high school again? The assistant, associate, manager, Korean Kara, tells me to take a seat. Yesterday, you didn't take your scheduled break. I didn't know I had a scheduled break. I thought they just yelled, break time, break time. No. You're supposed to arrive and look first thing at the schedule and find out when your break is. And then you're supposed to keep track of time and take your 12-minute break. Oh, I didn't know that. She said, well, you worked 5 hours straight, and that is against company policy. If you do that again, the company is going to have to pay you for an extra hour of work. Oh dear, $8. Just might break all their profits. She looks at me, she says, you should have known this from orientation. I said, well, Mr. P didn't tell us because he was busy texting. She says, well, I have to tell you, if you do that again, we will have to let you go. I look at her and I say, you know, this is a holiday job. I wasn't really planning on staying. She looks at me over her glasses and actually smiles. So I go back at it. I go to ring up items we don't really need in our lives and listen to the customers. It's a slow morning. Most of the customers, most of the time, are women. And most of these women are my age. And most of them are buying things for themselves or their house. One woman tells me she can't swap her husband for a new one, but she can swap things around in her house. Oops. Her American Express card doesn't go through. She's embarrassed. She has cash, but not enough. She can go to the bank. But I do not, repeat, I do not want to cancel her order. To do this means calling over Rosie the bitch, who will harass me for not knowing how to do this. Then she will come behind me, she'll huff and puff, and she'll blow my confidence down and then tell me to sign the black book. So I decide I'm going to run my credit card. Okay. I may have been the only TJ Maxx employee in the history of the world who did this for a customer. But I had faith she was going to come back. And Rosie Bitch didn't see me doing this little private transaction. An hour later, the woman comes back. She slips me the cash when nobody is looking. She gives me an extra $1 tip. Next customer is a guy. The only guy I see in the store all day. Let me point out right here, when guys come in, 90% of the time they're alone and they buy socks or underwear. Now this guy who comes up is good looking, well-built Israeli, six-pack, nice pecs. The guy on the front of the underwear package, he's hot. I look at that guy on the package, I look at the Israeli guy, and I say, wouldn't it be great if every time you put on that underwear, you looked like him? He looks down at the underwear guy and says, I never thought of that. Shift 5. A customer comes up to me, she says, I waited to come back to you because last time I was here, you made me laugh. She says, look, I have this pair of I shouldn't be wearing hot pants. I got a return. You were right. You told me, you're not hot enough for those pants. I've only signed the bad book twice today. I don't understand why they just don't put me out there on the floor as a pickup associate. I would love it if all I could do all day long is pick items off the floor, hang them up, dust the shelves, put things in size order. I mean, I've got some OCD going on. And oh my God, this would be so much fun. And I probably wouldn't be talking to customers, I'd just be talking to myself. Like, ooh, that's a nice dress. Ooh, don't forget to dust that, get that little spot up. Shift 6. I come waltzing in 10 minutes early. And there's a little vicious 18-year-old girl who went to school with my teenager. She says, get in the back and punch in. I look at her and I said, you know what? I used to get bossed around by my teenager all day. I don't need to get bossed around by you. Walk away, I punch in, and I go report, cashier number 7, cashier number 7. The vicious little 18-year-old comes up to me and says, you're an hour late. What? I thought I was an hour early. Whoops. I guess I read the schedule wrong again. I gotta admit, I don't think I'm taking this job too seriously. I did get my first paycheck, and it was for a big $72.36. I figured maybe that's 7 payments of $10 to each credit card, and $2.36 left over for 3/4 of a mocha. Now, I gotta tell you, this job has got me out of the white-walled sanitarium. I'm feeling needed, wanted, appreciated. I jump off that mattress ready to tackle my day as an associate effing cashier. And I don't eat Ativan like candy anymore. I know, I've forgotten about that suicide shit. I think I was just being a little dramatic. Shift 7. This time I get the day and the time right. And I am 10 minutes early. Oh, now I'm breaking records. My first customer of the day was a woman. She's so happy. She says to me, how are you doing today? I said, great. How are you? She says, oh, I'm just great. I've recently moved to San Diego from Iowa. I'm so happy. So then, of course, I got to ask her who, what, when, and how. Why did she bring here? What brought her here? She said she met some guy online. She got a job as a radiologist technician. I said, wow, where do you work? UCSD. Wow, you work in the radiology department? Yeah. I said, do you know Jackie Wong? Dr. Jackie Wong? She said, oh, yeah. She's got a great rep for being the doctor head zapper. Head zapper? She says, yeah, that's what we do with those little machines with the radiology. We just zap people in the head. Oh, all right. Now I gotta ask her, where does this guy live that you ended up moving from Iowa for? She says, oh, he just lives about a mile from here. I said, really? What's his name? I knew his name. Not only did I know his name, but I knew his ex-wife. I used to work with her. And according to the ex-wife, she said the last 8 years they were married, they never had sex. What? I cannot fathom why anyone would stay married without the bonus of sex. I mean, come on, I always say if you can't get along, at least you can get it on. I tell this woman that. I feel compelled to tell this woman what I know. She says, oh yeah, I know, he told me that. He told me he wasn't having sex with her anymore because he said, why bother? Most of the time she was a bitch. Besides, she was like a dead fish when they had sex. Now I know the other side of the story. And I don't think I'll be telling this to his ex. That day, when I go home for my dinner break, I bring back my duster buster. I can't stand the dust balls under the counter, under the garbage pails, you know, on the floors, on top of the counters. So I just bring it in. I put it behind me. Mr. P comes around. He said, what are you doing? I said, it's my dust buster. I can bust my dust. I'm very proud. This is at your service. He's not happy. Not quite sure why. Why isn't he happy? I'm an employee willing to go the extra mile, get down on my hands and knees and I am just going to go at it all day long. There'll be less germs, less sneezing. I said, well, come on. You don't want me to dust your bust? Bust your dust? I guess I could dust some bust too while I was at it. But he says no. And I said, well, where's your vacuum? He tells me they don't have a vacuum. Well, when is the store going to get clean? He says in mid-January. Mid-January? Yes, right before the bigwigs come in and they assess the place and we do the inventory. They wait until January to clean? That's just gross. He tells me to take home my prized possession. I pack my dejected dustbuster away. I come home and I place her brightly on top of the fridge. Shift 8. A couple comes up with 2 shopping baskets of toys. They have 5 grandchildren. They've just moved back from Hawaii. They can't wait for Christmas with all the grandkids. They lived on the Big Island. They're about my age. We're just chatting away. I'm ringing up all these toys. By the end of the 20-minute section of ringing up all the toys and stuff, we give each other hugs. We exchange phone numbers. We're good friends. We're going to get together, have a drink. I say goodbye. They walk out with 2 baskets of overflowing toys. Cashier number 7 is now available. Cashier number 7, a new customer comes up to me. I go to ring her up, but the register won't open because $322 has not been collected for the people I just became pals with. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. I look at the customer in front of me. I say, I'll be right back. I look at the door. I'm cashier number 7, so I have to run past 6 cash registers to get to the door. I run as fast as I can. And Rosie the bitch is yelling, where are you going? Where are you going? I pretend I don't hear her as I fly right out the front door. I see the couple. I walk over to them. They're putting their toys into the car, and I'm like, hey guys, how you doing? They're like, hey, what are you on break? How are you? And I said, no, you forgot to pay. They are horrified. She thought he paid. He thought she paid. And of course, I didn't even think to get their money. Oh, they say, are you going to lose your job? I said, I don't think I have to worry about that. The guy walks in behind me. He gives me cash. Rosie the bitch is watching this whole transaction. When he leaves, she comes over to me and says, how did that happen? I said, quite easily. I was talking away, giving them all the presents to put in their cart. Somehow, I forgot to charge them. They forgot to pay. Rosie looks at me and she says, "You're never supposed to put anything in that cart until it's all paid for." I said, "Hey, Mr. P forgot to tell us that. And what was I supposed to do? Stack up all these things behind me?" Okay. Maybe getting them to pay was a bit much, but it wasn't on purpose. She says, "By the way, we've been observing you, and you've been spending too much time with your customers." I say, "Look, for $8 an hour, if someone wants to talk to me about their dying aunt or their young grandkid or their dead fiance or the sex life they're having with their new boyfriend, and there's no line, I'm gonna listen. Besides, I may be the only cashier in the world who gets the customers' life stories. And for that, I should get a full page in a non-existent good book." Shift 9. The next day I arrive, but little Miss 18-year-old know-it-all snaps, "You are an hour early." I said, "Thought you could use me today. You know, all that extra help with your hanger management and all those little nubbies. They seem to be bouncing around the floor, kind of piling up." She says, "Go back home." Listening to this little shit 18-year-old? I go back home. I come in an hour later. I'm supposed to wear a name tag every day. I can't find mine, but I find Mariana's. Close enough to Maura. Besides, she's not coming in today. If the customers call to complain, they can complain about Mariana. It's about 5 p.m. There's a tap on the shoulder. Mariana has been called into work. She's been looking for her name tag in the back. She has spent 10 minutes looking for her name tag. I tell her, I'm sorry. I hand it over to her. I go tagless the rest of the day. And if I get caught, I'm definitely going to win the award for the most times in the bad book. I have worked 9 official shifts, and I've already been featured in the bad book at least 20 times. Let me tell you, I think I've earned another chapter in the bad book. Shift 10. It's 2 days before Christmas. Santa appears about noon, and he goes, "Ho, ho, ho," through the whole store. TJ Maxx has hired him for $100 an hour to go around to all the employees and hand out penny freaking candy canes. He comes up behind me, "Ho, ho, ho, happy holidays." He gives me a few tiny candy canes. I said, "Look, Santa, you little fat shit. How can you be paid to go from store to store and hand out penny candy when these poor associates are just making $8 an hour? How about telling those rich shits at the top to give out $25 cash at least to these workers?" Santa stops to look at me. No more, "Ho, ho, ho." I'm sure he's going to report me, but I'm tagless. This is the week we are allowed to wear Santa hats. I bring in my own Victoria's Secret collection, pink velvet hats with some little pink ruffly skirts. I get a few takers. I also have long red Santa hats that will wrap around your neck like a scarf. I get a few more takers. We're jazzing up the place. Today, December 23rd, there are shoppers looking frantic, crazy. They have that look on their face like, "Oh my God, I didn't get my mother-in-law anything. I hate the Christmas retail season." And then there's the look of, "I want to kill my husband" look. I go home at lunch. I come back with a Rudolph light-up blinking nose. I put it on. Mr. P looks at me and says, "That's not gonna cut it." I say, "Oh yeah? Watch." I keep my blinking Rudolph nose on, and every time someone comes up to the cashier and they gets in line, my nose blinks away, and they smile. I know they're thinking, "What the hell is this middle-aged woman doing with a Rudolph nose on?" But each of those customers over the course of the day has laughed when they've come up to me. "Ha ha, Mr. P. I think this nose lit up their lives." At one point, I hear my name. "Hey, hey, Maura." I look up, nose blinking. It's one of my coffee pals. She's catching me in action. Long red hat wrapped around my neck, blinking nose on, working away at the cash register. I wave, I smile, I blink. She takes a picture with her smartphone. That night, I get home and find myself posted on Facebook. She says, once again, making us laugh and working for who knows how long. I comment, what's worse, getting caught working at TJ Maxx or looking like that? I decide the former. I am on the schedule for the 27th of December. On December 26th, I bring back about 15 pieces of clothing and other things I was convinced that my birth daughters and I needed. Now, the problem with working in a retail store is you get to see all the things you think your kids might look good in or things you just have to have for your house. My kids would look at the clothes and say, Mom, there's a reason those clothes are on clearance. I found myself buying a special little bowl with paw prints on it for my cat. Like the cat cares what bowl she eats from? How about that huge holiday glasses that I would loudly say truthfully to the spouse, I just had one glass of wine. But I found out they were actually candle holders. How about the Santa shower curtain I bought, where Santa is actually taking a shower? I mean, this has got to stop. I go up to my associates, cashier pal, and I'm running through all the receipts, and I'm looking for the receipt to match this item and that item, and she looks at me and she says, you know, you're the nightmare customer. I feel so bad that I'm putting her through all this. It takes a half hour. I give her the Starbucks card I got for Christmas. Shift 11. I am on the schedule for December 27th. I report early and in my new Christmas clearance clothes. I hear Rosie the bitch yell, Maura's here! And all the associates, effing cashiers, turn their heads to look at me. Mr. P comes from the break room where he's probably texting away. He asks me to follow him to the manager's room. It's just past the shoe section. I ask him, hey, how was your Christmas? How many people came to dinner? Do you like it? Was yesterday busy in the store? He doesn't say much. We get to the dingy manager's room. He says, sit down. You know this was a holiday job. So, we don't think you had the right skills to be an associate cashier. So we don't need you anymore. And we're going to pay you out in cash. Cash? I feel like they're the mafia trying to pay me off and get rid of me. I tell them it's okay. You can send me a check. No, they insist. Rosie, the associate bitch, walks in. She tells me, we'll pay you for 1 hour today since you made the effort to come in. Oh, I know this is going to have a huge effect on their profits. I say, hey, Rosie bitch, maybe if you'd been more patient with me and informative about this effing cashier job, I would have been your star employee. She looks at me and says, I doubt it. She says, count the money, at which I do. It's $73.22. They hand me the pay stub. I look at it. It matches up. Mr. P escorts me to the door. I say, hey, is my 10% off card still going to work? No. And you are banned from this store for at least 6 months. 6 months? Was I really that incompetent? He heads to my car feeling like a criminal. I look at the pay stub and I realize they forgot to take out taxes and Social Security to the amount of $5.66. Should I tell them? No, I decide to keep it. I drive home. I found spouse. He's in the bathroom taking down the Santa curtain. What are you doing home so early? I tell him, I think I'm about to turn back into a lazy, mooching, selfish, bitchy mattress hugger. He told me, I'm just not the TJ Maxx associate, cashier type. He looks at me, a little bit worried. Then I said, do I need to sign the black bad book? He laughs. He hugs me and says, look, honey, there's always bed, bath, and beyond. And beyond. The end.